do I still believe that render could hypothetically go to the price of $150 during this bull run? The answer is yes. And even though they may be hard to believe as of right now, I'm not changing my price target, even though nothing I say is financial advice. Because first of all, I think the bull run is far from over, and I'm going to get into that later on in the video. However, I first want to talk about just how special render is and why I think this could be a contributing factor as to why, again, it could hypothetically go to the price of $150 during this bull run. Now, here's the thing. The render network gives individuals the ability to contribute unused GPU power to help projects render motion graphics and visual effects. Now, people may be thinking, okay, what's the incentive for them to do this? Now, in return for doing that, these individuals are rewarded by way of render tokens. So again, there's incentive there, right? However, some people may be thinking, okay, what's the point in this? Now, I think this is genius because the key is providing unused GPU power. Now, a GPU stands for a graphic processing unit, but even besides that, again, if something is unused anyways, and they're providing that, and in return, they're getting a reward, isn't that amazing? That's a total game changer right there, in my opinion. And I do believe that when it comes to something like render, they understand there is a market gap. They understand that there's a niche here that could be fulfilled. And again, render, this is how amazing they are. Some people like to say, oh, it's a taggy project. Oh, it's bad. It's all this. Well, I disagree with that. I think it's actually very wonderful. And again, if something is unused anyways, and let's say someone can provide that to help projects, why not? It's like, for instance, let's say I have 10 cars, or let's say I have like 10 homes. I think it'd be a better example, right? And I'm only living in like one. Let's say there's a vacation home. So let's say like 8 is unused. Wouldn't it be better if I rented it out, Why not, right? It's unused anyways. So this is how amazing render is. They're kind of taking that same principle, but then applying it to, this space, I would say. Now, here's the thing. We take a look at, for instance, as well, right? Render is focused on AI. Now, people may be thinking, okay, why is this even a good thing? Well, because even though a lot of the hype did kind of simmer down when it comes to AI, I do believe that better days are ahead because take into consideration how, according to Grandview Research, the AI market is predicted to be worth nearly $2 trillion by 2030. Let me just let that sink in. Nearly $2 trillion. The GDP of Canada back in 2023 was around $2 trillion. So this is very impressive. I think AI is still far from over. Now, it's also even been stated that when it comes to render, quite essentially, it simplifies the process of rendering and streaming 3D environments and other visual effects. So that's really cool, right? Now, not to mention, another use case, or should I say several other use cases when it comes to render, does include this, allegedly. For instance, again, if you take a look at the render network, its markets do include augmented reality, mixed reality, gaming, medical, and even virtual reality as well. Now, more specifically, I do believe that having use cases in areas such as gaming and virtual reality, or should I say again, virtual reality, I'm going to repeat that because I kind of, had a sore throat when I said the first one, but even besides that, I think these are amazing markets because think about this, right? First of all, when it comes to blockchain gaming, yet again, according to Grandview Research, its market size is predicted to be worth over $300 billion by 2030. It's not even that far away at this point, and I think if anything, it showcases that there's a positive trajectory when it comes to that. Now, let's take a look at, for instance, virtual reality. This market, according to the Insight Partners, is expected to be worth over $440 billion by 2030. So you got to think about that, right? That's very amazing, and when it comes to render, it's clearly focused on the right markets. Now, not too long ago, what happened, right? We take a look at, it's even been stated that the community voted to build the network on a new layer 1 blockchain, Solana, after they had previously built on Ethereum. Now, again, I'm talking about the render network here. And I think this is massive for its future. Now, the reason why is because when I take a look at something like Ethereum, I get it, it's very popular, a lot of fans, a lot of projects on there, and it's still going to continue to thrive. I totally understand that. However, I think Solana is just the fair evolution as to what I think something like render should be doing, right? Because think about when it comes to Solana, very low gas fees, very scalable. It kind of doesn't suffer from the same issues that we see with Ethereum, which of course are kind of contrast to what I just said, right? Scalability is often an issue. Also gas fees, it's a complete problem in my opinion. Now, Ethereum can rely on these layer 2s and it's fine, right? But then I do believe that even though these layer 2s do fix this, sometimes we just want something that is streamlined, something that is good straight out of the box. You know what I mean? It's like, for instance, someone buys a shoe right? And then they have to modify it themselves and all this. That's kind of complicated. Why not just get one that's already like cool, you know? So this is why I do like something like Solana, even despite people sometimes saying, oh, Solana has had some unreliability issues in the past, which I do agree with, but allegedly it's been fixed. And the way I take a look at it is that the network is working really good, in my opinion. And I think, it's a perfect place to be quite essentially for something like this. Now, let's not forget, when it comes to something like Render, people like to say, oh, going to the price of $150 is impossible and all this. Well, here's the thing. If it were to go to that price, considering current circulating supply, market cap at that point would be around $78 billion, which I don't think is too bad. I mean, take into consideration, Dogecoin reached over $80 billion in market cap back in 2021. I don't think it's too much to ask for. BNB market cap that year as well, 2021, was over $100 billion. Even XRP as of right now, market cap is over $100 billion. I don't think this is too much to ask for. We've seen even a meme coin exceed this a number of years ago, right? Keep in mind, back in 2021, during the peak of that bull run, there was roughly around 300 million crypto owners. Now there's over 600 million. I mean, just let that sink in. This is according to Crypto.com research. That's more than ever before in history. I think this bull run could just be a lot more special, and I do believe that when it comes to something like this, yeah, I just don't see why this is too much to ask for. Now, keep in mind, $150 is around a 37x from here, so that's actually very impressive. Now, again, people may think it's kind of a bad thing because the price of Render is going down, but really, generally speaking, even Bitcoin is going down as of right now. A bunch of other altcoins. It had a little bit of a good recovery, but then all the good recovery, in a sense, is now pretty much gone because, things are going down again. But still, I think the short term is going to be very volatile. But I think, let's say Render, goes to the price of $50. I think at that point, it could very well create a snowball effect because just imagine $50, and at that point, $100 is a 2x from that, and then $150 is within, grabbing distance, I would say, right? Take into consideration Cardano's native token called ADA. At one point, the price was around 3 cents. Take a look at what happened in 2021. Going to the price of $1 was kind of difficult, but then $1.50, $2, at one point it reached around $3, right? Depending on the site or exchange. But I'm just saying, when it comes to something like that, we've seen it time and time again. Things usually beyond a certain point sometimes just become a little bit exponential in terms of the growth. So when I take a look at something like Render, I think better days are ahead. And keep in mind, usually altcoins is the worst case scenario. They typically peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. And when did the last Bitcoin halving event happen? Happened back in April of last year. So 18 months from then is actually around October this year. Really, I don't think it's even that much longer. We're going to see a lot of volatility, in my opinion, in the short to medium term. But I think eventually, in the finish line, I just don't see why not. Now, sure, there's going to be not an accurate thing here because it's not a guarantee that things are going to exactly peak as a worst case scenario altcoins again, let's say around October this year. It's just more so of a gauge, or should I say a benchmark based off history. But I still do believe that when it comes to this, it's still something I'm going to pay attention to. Near the end of 2025, I'm still staying patient. Anytime an income I'm acquiring, I'm holding, I'm just waiting because I'm not giving up. And I still believe in the idea of Render hypothetically going to the price of $150 during this bull run. I can't wait. I'm very bullish and I'm very excited. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's Mali the Captain. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.